Hey y'all, welcome to the Hoffmann Homestead. We're gonna do a quick garden tour because I think this is right around the time that we should be doing our first, if not second, garden tour. It's been a wild ride the last few weeks. My son got sick, it's garden time, so lots happened. I wanna get you guys caught up on what's happening in our garden and I'll take you around real quick. So first and foremost, we're very grateful that we've finally gotten through all of the dirt that we had delivered. We still have this bad boy to burn off, but we finally have all of our beds filled. Isn't this monstrosity just beautiful? Gorgeous. We have our first arch trellis up. We moved that from our garden, which was over here. You'll notice the beautiful chicken coop back here now. Last year we grew, I want to say that we grew melons on it, but this year I actually have a rose. I'll zoom in and show you guys that I want this to be roses. I need to get a rose for that side as well, but we have a few more spots for some arch trellises that I do plan on putting in. We're just not there yet. We've got to get some more T-posts because this is, of course, much larger than what we had previously. We have another arch back there that we just need to put the T-posts in, but I think we're waiting to get more stock before we do that. So let's start going through our plants. Before I forget, we are in Central Illinois, Zone 5B, pretty close to 6A, and we do pretty much all raised bed gardening. As you can tell by the beginning of this video, this garden was newly built this year. We had a smaller space in this area and we have officially upgraded. So we're working on an empty lot that used to be a really rundown house. The soil here is pretty heavy clay and wasn't going to be easy to work with, so we went ahead and went with raised beds. I also think that they're just beautiful and you don't need much more reason than that. So it's how I love to garden. It's what we do. We have a couple other things that will be grown in ground, but it's going to be small spaces here and there. So that's our setup. Let's look at some plants. All right, so our first bed, we've got this rose. It is a climbing rose, and isn't that just gorgeous? I'm really hoping that it looks like the picture says it's gonna look, but of course this is brand spanking new to us, so we're just gonna let it climb up and over. I've got most of my starts out here. If they're not already in the ground, they are still in some containers ready to go in the ground. Our peppers are still inside, though they are now ready to start hardening off. Tomatoes got a little leggy in the last few weeks. That's on me. Look at these guys, looking a little sad. More tomatoes. I do start most of my plants from seed. I either start them in pots early on or I put them in the ground simply because that's cheap for me. My tomatoes alone at this year's start prices would cost me almost $400 and I don't play that game. So more tomatoes, less leggy. More tomatoes, and I think broccoli, and then more tomatoes. This bed doesn't have anything in it yet, but we do have some onion starts and some herbs. Empty bed, empty bed. Actually, this bed is not empty. I did put some bulbs right here. This is right at the entrance. They're going to be gorgeous. I think it's aster lilies. It's like a black lily. Beautiful. On the other side, the right side of the arch trellis, we have empty bed. My son loves flowers and he saw this petunia and was just like, I need that. So he needed it and he decided that this is his garden bed this year, so that's where he wanted to put it. Rain gauge that needs a new piece of glass. Empty bed, empty bed. You're getting the drift here. Empty bed. This bed, we are actually going to make a mixed mint bed. So I have a chocolate mint, a spearmint or peppermint, and a spearmint or peppermint. One of those is the other. So I'm gonna let the mint kind of run wild in its own 8-foot bed because I'm going to love the tea, but I don't want it all up in my herb bed. All right, so down the middle, we have a strawberry bed, which most of these are Ozark Beauties that we transplanted from our last garden. And then we just got a couple of really cool strawberries. Let me see if I can find one with a blossom on it. So our Ozark Beauties have a white flower, and these guys have a really pretty pink flower. And they're supposed to be good for canning and whatnot. They're called sweet berry strawberries. Ever-bearing, just like the Ozark Beauty, but I just thought it would be fun. So we've got two of those in each of our strawberry beds. We have two 4 by 20 foot beds dedicated to strawberries right here on the edges. These two beds, we plan on them being a culinary / tea herb, medicinal herb station, if you will. So I'm planning on mostly culinary herbs and stuff like that, and then medicinal flowers and herbs on this side. Right now we have a bee balm, which I know is not culinary, but that's where it landed. A rosemary from seed and a sage from seed. A lemon balm that we transplanted from, I think, 2 years ago. That one's pretty old. And then some yarrow I started from seed. Empty bed, and then we have 3 artichokes, which 2 of them don't look great. I'll have to see what's going on with that, but the middle guy looks awesome. Empty bed. I just planted some seeds in that one. It's gonna be zucchini, green zucchini and yellow zucchini, and then I may leave this space open for okra, but nothing's come up over there yet. Empty, empty, empty for all 3 of those. This long back bed, I intend to be all tomatoes, which of course those are now ready, but I was hoping to get at least the T-posts in the ground for the trellising before I put them in there. So I'm trying to wait, but I may not be able to wait much longer. This bed, the longer of the 2 left in the back, has some pinto beans and navy bean seeds in it, but again, nothing has popped up yet. Empty bed. This is the herb bed. This one is empty, so is that one. That particular bed, not that one, this one in the middle, that may stay empty this year. We'll see what happens. I may find some shallow rooted items. We were pretty low on soil, so we filled the bottom with twigs, and I just feel like there's gonna be a nitrogen deficiency, and I don't know if I wanna deal with it. I may plant some beans in it. We'll see what happens. Sorry, empty bed. This bed is some, I believe these are Mammoth Red cabbages. There's a tag here somewhere. Oh, there's one. Ugh. Yep, so that's a Mammoth Red cabbage. They were put in the ground maybe 2 weeks ago. They're doing pretty good. When I don't let them rot in the ground. Anyway, so that's what's here. Looks like one of them keeled over, but they're doing pretty good. They're gorgeous. I have celery on the side, which transplanted okay. And then some beautiful pak choi. I just absolutely love how this is doing. And then we have some red acre cabbage on the other side of that pak choi. More celery that needs to be transplanted on the other side. We may fill in the gaps with some carrots. We'll see what happens. This is the bed I'm currently working on. I've got calabrese broccoli, and there's a cabbage in here too. Oh, yep. There's Georgia Southern collards and Gloria of Encusin cabbage. So hopefully those come up. I need to transplant the other side of these, and then I think I may do a sweet pea. Not a sweet pea. Not the kind that you shell, but the other kind. snap pea, that's what it is. A snap pea all along this side. I think that'll be nice to freeze and put into like stir fry mixes, which we do a lot of those now that I'm gluten-free. So we'll likely do that along this side, and maybe some carrots or onions along this side. Oh, and we have some extra cabbages and pak choi here that I think I'm gonna take to work and give to some people. My beautiful new hammock, I love it. This is my broken down green stock. We moved it over and I've left it like this because I have some, the rotators that go on the bottom where you can turn it. I have those on the way with their Mother's Day sale. So once I get those, I'm gonna put this guy back together, and we'll probably have one here and one in that gap over there. I would love to have a little seating area in each of these spots, as well as over here, of course, but a little sitting area with, you know, a green stalk with a couple snacking items. I've got snap peas, strawberries. I put radishes in there, though Lord knows I'm not gonna snack on those. We can wish, right? But a couple beans, some carrots, stuff like that, where you can just pop off a strawberry and enjoy the view and just kind of sit and enjoy my tea. So, all right, and last but not least, we have some berry bushes that I need to do stuff with. So we've got some blueberries, I think that's a blackberry, another blueberry, and then a raspberry. And I think that's it for at least the first garden tour. There's not a whole lot growing just yet. Just got it all put together, and I'm okay with that. It's gonna be a really fun year, and I can't wait until next year or the year after when it's like really filled out. But it's gonna be really fun this year, just watching it all come together, watching it all flourish and bloom. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit nervous about handling all of it because it is very large. It is much larger than any garden I've ever grown. It's the largest garden that I've seen that isn't on a farm somewhere. So, yeah. It's pretty cool. I'm nervous, but I'm very excited. I've got to get rid of the imposter syndrome, and I think it'll be okay. All right, sorry, we've bounced around quite a bit, but thank you guys for coming and hanging out with me today and checking out my garden. Not a lot going on, but it's gonna be wild by the end of this season. That's for darn sure. So keep coming around. We'll probably do a weekly tour just so in winter my heart can go see it and feel better about the winter. But yeah, no matter what your brain tells you and how much that imposter syndrome comes around, just remember that you can do anything that you set your mind to, and I believe in you, and I think you should just try it, just like we are.